So, to follow up on my video on why College Board should be tried in The Hague for their crimes against humanity, it looks as if their brain-dead CEO has somehow managed to stop snorting crack for a second and smashed his concave head into the keyboard hard enough to create the mess that was this year's AP exams. For those of you who haven't personally experienced this travesty, I'll give you a warning now that what you're about to witness may just melt your brain with the immeasurable stupidity and moral degeneracy on display. And with that, let's put on our hazmat suits and see just how badly College Board messed up this year's AP exams. This whole fiasco began months ago when College Board CEO David Coleman was in a corporate meeting. Perched on his office chair made out of bleached human bones, he was faced with the following question from one of his minions. Advisors.
How does College Board respond to the current epidemic, especially with regards to the upcoming AP tests? Do we cancel our exams like people who run the IB test did and give students some emotional breathing room without the pressure of standardized testing?
You almost seem human for a second there. I guess that's why you're working in PR. Of course not. Who cares about students' emotional well-being or even the integrity of the learning that's occurring if it interferes with our profit margins? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have the AP exams anyway, but we're going to make the tests online, cut out 2/5 of the content, make it just 1/4 of the time, and still charge the same $94 exam fee. It's perfect, because we can just use the current situation as an excuse not to pay our test writers the full fee and increase our profit margins even further. Just think about it. Some schools aren't even giving grades or finals, so students will have to take our exams if they want to show colleges that they've mastered the course material. It's like we're kicking them while they're down. And so College Board went around and, with absolutely no regard to the integrity of the exams, mindlessly chopped out 2/5 of the content like an illegal logger in the Amazon. They then released the new bastardized syllabus to the public, only to pull it from their website a week later. I'm not joking when I say that it's harder to find a revised syllabus as a student than it is to find a McDonald's with a working ice cream machine. There's no way you can find this stuff by just looking at their website, because the new syllabus is only given to AP teachers. And how do you become an AP teacher? You pay College Board. How do you justify that? Why can't students see the syllabus if they're the ones taking the exam? And even if they could pull an excuse out of their ass to justify giving it only to teachers, why do you need to charge them for it if the syllabus for every other year was free? Even Stevie Wonder could see that the only thing you're doing here is trying to squeeze every last penny out of our wallets like a goddamn steamroller. Helen Keller could hear the blood money jingling in your panda fern-lined pockets and bumping against your rhino-horn crack pipes. And as for the content that they ended up cutting, what more proof do you need that they didn't care beyond the AP biology exam and their choice to remove evolution? I mean, it's not like evolution explains why life and the rest of biology exists. It's not like it's the foundation of our understanding of how the living world came to be that the way it is, and you're going to remove it in favor of knowing how a goddamn cactus works. Gauging someone's competence in biology without evolution is like testing their engineering background by asking them to build a skyscraper in Roblox. Yeah, they'll get the general shape of things right, but the second you try and apply it to real life, it's gonna collapse like a teen vapor's lungs after catching Rona. Now, I'd love to give you more examples of College Board's extraordinary ineptitude, but like I said, all of the syllabi are behind a goddamn paywall! They haven't even bothered to update the website! It still has the old exam format on it! The only page where they mention the changes is this new page they set up. And oh, what's this? Exam schedule and information. Jeff, you lied to us, because the syllabus has to be here. Let me click on it and see. Psych! It's just the test schedule, because College Board has the moral conscience of a camp commandant! And if you need any more proof that the people who run this monopoly will stop at nothing to rip money out of our hands, there's the whole Our AP Test 2020 controversy. Now, I haven't IP traced users and linked them to College Board computers, but take a look for yourself and see how suspicious this looks. Out of nowhere, this subreddit was created on May 10th, 2020 by a moderator called Dinosauce313, whose account posted for the first time on May 10th. And guess what? On that same day, College Board's honorable dictator of AP exams, Trevor Packer, tweeted that he had, quote, just canceled the AP exam registrations of a ring of students who were developing plans to cheat and were currently investigating others. It's not worth the risk of having your name reported to college admissions offices. Okay, I don't like ad hominem attacks, but just look at this guy. Look at him trying to tuck away his underbite like he's tucked away his earnings in an offshore bank account. Look at his right eye that he was born with and his left eye that he stole from some random kid whose AP exam he canceled and had it stapled to his head. Look at that forehead that's big enough to land a goddamn space shuttle on and still have space for a presidential inauguration. And what's wrong with his ears? It looks like he's got a mousey inside of a human ear, just like he's got a mouse brain instead of that empty skull of his. And the hair! No amount of food coloring is ever gonna save you from those gray hairs, Trevor. Although with the way your hairline's going, you might not have to worry about gray hairs for very long anyway. But getting back on topic, all of this could have been a massive coincidence. But then you look at the actual subreddit itself, and all doubts are washed away. The RAP Test 2020 subreddit was supposed to be a resource for students to cheat during tests, but for a thread created by a high schooler, the description of a community of students taking the 2020 AP test and wanting to use online resources while doing so reads a lot like it was written by some castrated boomer drinking his way through his third divorce after his wife left him for his best friend. And on the note of crippling alcoholism, it seems like Dinosauce313 was trying a bit too hard to sound like a teen and had a partially alcohol-induced stroke, resulting in them posting this piece of unintelligible garbage over and over again. But the plot thickens even more, because there was another user called RandomLetters413 who was fighting with Dinosauce313. I mean, 413 could very well be a troll account, or just an even more brain-dead boomer who drank himself half to death to forget his impending mortgage foreclosure. Luckily enough, it seems like the majority of the users on this thread figured out that this was a cross between a phishing scam and a sting operation, because on the day of AP exams, they fled the subreddit with, let's say, an inordinate amount of explicit images, so that the morons at Collegeboard would have to scroll through all of that in order to start banning kids. But even if this whole operation was a massive failure because they employed people who couldn't legally be within 20 feet of a teen to sound like teens, the fact remains that this is another example of Collegeboard actively lying to students to make even more money. Oh, and just as a quick aside, don't forget that they literally include a snitch on your friends here button on their emails. Now, with all of the money that these half-bred degenerates have managed to forcibly take from students and teachers, you'd think that at least the tests themselves would go well. But then again, looking at Collegeboard's track record, which reads more like a transcript of the Nuremberg trials, maybe not. And maybe not would be correct, because the test went about as smoothly as a Spirit Airlines flight. After just the first AP, it became abundantly clear that the Collegeboard servers consisted of 5 vacuum tubes and an anencephalic orangutan with a wrench superglued to its foot. Students worldwide weren't able to submit their exams because the servers couldn't handle anything more complex than playing Pong. And that's if they could manage to figure out how to submit their exams at all, because the submission portal supported as many file formats as the Collegeboard IT department has functioning brain cells. It actually reminds me a lot of Fallout 76, because both were blatant cash grabs aimed at exploiting children that were completely pay to win. And that last point is extremely important, because these exams are inevitably going to favor more affluent test takers with a stable Wi-Fi connection and a good computer who don't have to worry about their financial situation during this outbreak. What happens if you don't have that stuff? Collegeboard sure as hell isn't going to help you out. That's your problem. But this goes against the stated purpose of AP exams, which is to help people get ahead in college by earning college credits in high school. Richer students can probably afford to pay for a 4-year college, whereas less well-off students might not be able to and use AP exams to shorten the time that they have to spend in school. Well, how do they help if they explicitly discriminate against the groups by requiring certain technologies? Socioeconomic status isn't the only thing that these tests disproportionately favor. Ability is another one. Blind and deaf students, for example, aren't getting anywhere near the amount of support that they should be. In the place of actually useful accommodations, they get long-winded audio descriptions that sound like a 5th grader trying to meet a word limit on an essay and a single line of Braille. Best of all, they've given the exact same time limit as everyone else. One New York student even filed a complaint against Collegeboard about this, and I wholeheartedly support her. This is an abhorrent challenge not just to student rights, but human rights. And guess what happens when Collegeboard screws up your exam thanks to nothing but their own ineptitude? You have to tell them what went wrong. No, you have to prove what went wrong, and then if Collegeboard is feeling generous, they'll let you take your exam again. Why does the burden lie on students' shoulders when it's Collegeboard's fault that AP testing is the equivalent of the fermented contents of a used porta potty in the middle of July? Shouldn't culpability lie with the people that messed up and not the victims? Since when are we guilty until proven innocent? Since when does a multinational corporation built on the backs of misled children have more rights than the students that it beats down with false promises of improving college admissions chances only to wrench the money from their helpless hands? Why are we standing idly by when students are morally and emotionally violated by a company that cares more about its bottom line than human rights and would gladly have their advisory board build their 14th vacation house on top of our lifeless bodies? Are we just supposed to keep eating the faces-laden lies that they feed us, or are we gonna do something about it? I might just be crazy, but I'm gonna do the latter, which is why I'm going to address College Board directly now. Dear College Board, I hope you're doing well during these troubled times, although I'm sure that's not a sentiment that you would return. I'm sick of you lying to students and putting your CEO's tax-deductible summer getaway ahead of our rights. I'm sick of you discriminating against vulnerable groups while pretending to cater to them with your tests. And I'm not the only one. So, on behalf of every student that you have deceived, scammed, exploited, discriminated against, and outright lied to, I'd just like to say, fuck you! The fires of hell don't burn hot enough for your damn souls. Shout out to Stemo for making my outro music, link to his Spotify in the description. In all honesty, I might just get a cease and desist for this video, so remember to like and sub so I can pay for the lawyer. Stay safe out there, people.